It's the 27th of July, so we're going to be reading Matthew 27. When the morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to put him to death. Oh no! And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate the governor. When Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was, gotta flip the page. Guess maybe some more going. Okay. Seeing he was condemned, repented himself, and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders, saying, I have sinned in that I have betrayed the innocent blood. And they said, what is that to us? See that of that. Basically, why do we care? That's a you problem. And he cast down the pieces of the silver in the temple and departed and went and hanged himself. That's not good. And the chief priest took the silver pieces and said, it is not lawful for you, no, it is not lawful for to put them into the treasury, because it is the price of blood. And they took counsel and bought with them the potter's field to bury strangers in. Wherefore that field was called the field of blood unto this day. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremy the prophet, saying, and they took the 30 pieces of silver, the price of him that was valued, whom they of the children of Israel did value. He gave them for the potter's field, as the Lord appointed me. And Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, art thou the king of the Jews? And Jesus said to him, thou sayest. And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. Then said Pilate unto him, hearest thou not how many things they witness against thee? And he answered him to never a word, insomuch that the governor marveled greatly. Now at that feast the governor was wont to release unto the people a prisoner whom they would. And they had then a notable prisoner called Barabbas. Therefore, when they were gathered together, Pilate said unto them, who will ye that I will release unto you, Barabbas or Jesus, which is called Christ? For he knew that for envy they had delivered him. And when he was set down on the judgment seat, his wife sent unto him, saying, have thou nothing to do with that just man? For I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. But the chief priests and elders persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas and destroy Jesus. The governor answered and said unto them, whether of the twain will ye that I release unto you? They said, Barabbas. Pilate saith unto them, what shall I do then with Jesus, which is called Christ? They all say unto him, let him be crucified. And the governor said, why, what evil hath he done? But they cried out the more, saying, let him be crucified. When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See ye do it. Another thing would be like, that's a you problem. Then answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and on our children. Wow. Then answered all the people and said, his blood shall be on us and on our children. Then released he Barabbas unto them, and when he had scourged Jesus, he delivered him to be crucified. That means to beat him. Then the soldiers of the governor took Jesus into the common hall and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers. And they stripped him and put him, goodness, I'm going to try to read. And they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe. And when they had platted a crown of thorns, when they put it on him, platted a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head and a reed in his right hand. And they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, hail, King of the Jews. That would hurt, having a crown of thorn in your head and then having people mocking you for it. And they spit upon him and took the reed and smote him on the head. They're mashing that crown of thorns into him. And after that they had mocked him, they took the robe off of him and put his own raiment on him and led him away to crucify him. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. Him they compelled to bear his cross. They were like, "Hey, you, do this." "I don't wanna." "I'll stab you." "Okay, I'll take it." That's how they compelled him, probably. And when they were come unto a place called Golgotha, that is to say, a place of a skull, they gave him vinegar to drink, mingled with gall. And when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink. And they crucified him, and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet. They parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture did they cast lots. And sitting down, they watched him there, and set up over his head the accusation written, "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." And then were there two thieves crucified with him, one on the right hand and another on the left. And they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads, and saying, "Thou that destroyest the temple and buildest it in 3 days, save thyself. If thou be the Son of God, come down from the cross." Likewise also the chief priests, mocking him with the scribes and elders, said, He had saved others, himself he cannot save. If he be the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in God, let him deliver him now, if he will have him. For he said, I am the Son of God. The thieves also which were crucified with him cast the same in his teeth. Now, from the 6th hour there was darkness all over the land unto the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour Jesus cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. I don't know that language. I cannot speak it. I'm sorry. That is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Some of them that stood there when they heard that said, This man calleth for Elias. And straightway one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it on a reed and gave him to drink. The rest said, Let us see whether Elias will come and save him. Jesus, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from top to bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. It's just like, wow. Like, it's like everything started shaking, and the veil was torn. That's the thing that separated the gods from the people. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, and the graves were opened, and many of the bodies of the saints which slept arose. So the earth was shaken, the dead rose up, and the veil was torn. And he came out of the graves after his resurrection, went into the holy city, and appeared unto many. So they started walking around like, hey, dude. Now, when the centurion and they that were with him, watching Jesus, saw the earthquake and those things that were done, they feared greatly. That makes sense. They feared greatly, saying, Truly, this was the Son of God. And then they're thinking like, oh crap, we killed him. And many women were there beholding afar off, which followed Jesus from Galilee, ministering unto him. Among which was Mary Magdalene, and Mary the mother of James, and Joseph, the mother of Zebedee's children. When the even was come, there came a rich man of Arimathea, named Joseph, who also himself was Jesus' disciple. He went to Pilate and begged the body of Jesus. Then Pilate commanded the body to be delivered. Pilate probably gave it to him because he knew he wasn't going to do anything bad with it. And when Joseph had taken the body, he wrapped it in a clean linen cloth. That was just my opinion, by the way. And laid it in his own new tomb, which he had hewn out in the rock. And he rolled a great stone to the door of the sepulchre and departed. And there was Mary Magdalene and the other Mary sitting over against the sepulchre. Now the next day that followed the day of preparation, the chief priests and Pharisees came together unto Pilate, saying, Sir, remember that deceiver. To talk him really brave, ain't they? They're like, well, we killed him so we can say this stuff now. But he called him teacher to his face most of the time. While he was yet alive, after 3 days I'll rise again. And it's so weird to call him a deceiver. He actually went around healing people. Everything he said was true and could be argued against. But they still call him a deceiver. Anyway, and it's written in red, so you know, Jesus said it and it's important. After 3 days I will rise again. Command therefore that the sepulchre be made sure until the 3rd day, lest his disciples come by night and steal him away, and say unto the people, He's risen from the dead. So the last error shall be worse than the first. And that was kind of a ludicrous plan. They were afraid, so they can't think straight. But the idea that the disciples would steal the body of Jesus is kind of wild to think about, because it's like you can't prove someone's alive. People can be like, "Well, the body's just gone." It means like a bear could come in there and got him. You don't really have proof that he's alive unless you got the person walking around. Pilate said unto them, "Ye have a watch. Go your way. Make it as sure as you can." So they went and made the sepulchre sure, sealing a stone and setting a watch. And that was Matthew 27. I was reading this today because it's the 27th day. But that was the moment in time, one of the darkest moments in history. Jesus is in the tomb. The crucifixion happened. And we're waiting to see what happens next. Sometimes in life you can feel the same way. Just see what happens next. Just hold on and see what God